Hello everyone, welcome to Tarot Tapas, a small bite to feed your soul. I'm super excited to be here today. I am in the comfort of my own home. This is a first for me. I am bringing you a weekend reading. I really did do my best yesterday to bring you a lunchtime recording, but the universe was not having it. Everything that could interfere did. And I think I just needed to sleep on it, but I took it as a sign that I needed to spend a little bit more time with you and maybe do a traditional spread today since I don't have to balance cards on my lap during my lunchtime and rush through things. So we're going to get a little bit more in depth, and the theme for the day is asking for guidance or advice on what we need to do or what we need to focus on, what needs to be acknowledged in order for us to navigate through this very uncomfortable retrograde season in a way that's going to help us on our journey towards self-empowerment, improvement, expansion, spiritual enlightenment, all things that make us evolve as into beautiful human beings. So we're going to go ahead and do a Celtic cross today, and that is one of my favorite spreads. It's a very traditional one, but I like it because it's concise and it's all-encompassing. It will bring to light everything that needs to be addressed. And I like to shuffle on camera with you, but what I'm going to do in order to save time and get straight into our messages, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the portion of the video where I'm laying out the setup, and then we'll talk about what it's saying and the message, and hopefully you'll get something from it. This will not resonate with everybody. This is a general reading. And so if you can take something of value from it, I am so happy. But if you can't, don't force it to fit. Just let it be. Maybe look for the next video. It might be for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it and shuffle these cards. And we will speed it up and see you on the other side. All right, so we're back. So I am doing reversals today. I normally don't do those on my lunchtime reads because I find they sometimes need a little bit more context to explain properly, and the explanations sometimes get a little bit convoluted. So I don't normally have time to do those on my lunchtime reads, and so I'm going to go ahead and take them today because I have a little bit more time to spend with you. So we're not facing that same time crunch that we usually are. So what I'm getting here is a reoccurring theme, and I know in the past three readings we've talked about the Four of Swords and how that's kind of the way that it's coming up for me at the center here. It's in reverse. That's the card that I'm getting. And a Four of Swords is kind of like an intentional retreat into yourself. It's not quite as heavy and deep as the Hermit card, you know, where you kind of go through like a soul searching journey and just completely detach yourself for a really long time. This is just kind of like it's not a superficial one either, but it's more on a surface level, putting up boundaries and detaching yourself from energies that you normally partake in order to recharge and regroup and heal from something that, you know, maybe the energy is a little bit particularly heavy and you're sensitive to that type of thing. So it's an intentional surrounding yourself with like a little bubble to make sure that you're resting and energized and recharged and healing, right? With it coming up in a reverse position, to me, it tells me that this Four of Swords for you is maybe particularly uncomfortable. It's not your normal recharge. It may be a little bit more intense. It might be a little bit more emotion involved. It's not as easy as just, I need to get some sleep and, you know, recoup my energy. Like this one's a little bit draining. It's a little bit uncomfortable. You're maybe having to dig up things that you don't normally dig up. The challenge for that Four of Swords is the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups speaks to the past, right? And the way that it's crossing that way is it's kind of telling me that this Four of Swords that you're going through is unearthing a lot of maybe childhood issues, childhood traumas that need to be addressed, or, you know, something that happened in your past that was particularly difficult to deal with that you're now having to unearth and address and face head on. And that's making your Four of Swords, you're kind of recharging, not like your normal self-care. It's making it particularly uncomfortable. And we've got the Three of Coins in reverse. And the Three of Coins is kind of like a cooperative energy. It's friendships, it's things, you know, people that you have foundations with that contribute to your life in some way, shape, or form. And so with it being in a reverse like this, it's kind of an indication that this Six of Cups energy is having to address some cooperative bonds that maybe didn't pan out the way that you wanted them to. There may be some disintegration of friendships from your past, or, you know, just kind of coworkers that you used to get along with, you know, like that sort of thing. And it's just kind of making you uncomfortable. You're not quite sure, you know, you're reevaluating the way that you approach people. You're just not quite sure how to move forward. It may be questioning, you know, you may be questioning your approach in the way that you work with other people. And this could apply to anything. It could apply to career, it could apply to spiritually, you know, you used to vibe with a prayer group and now you don't, you know, like that sort of thing. So that's the beauty of these, is like you can apply to them. They're malleable. You can take what you can from them and apply them to your own personal situation in life, right? In the recent past position, we have the Justice card. And this that you're going through, this heavy period, this kind of reminiscent and unearthing these past energies and, you know, questioning these bonds and things, is all a part of the rebalancing of your life. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't balancing in regards to these particular things. And so with the Justice card coming into play here in your recent past, it's kind of indicating that there is a reason for this happening, and that reason is a rebalance that needs to happen in your life. It's karmic cycles ending. It's things coming into, you know, falling into place where they need to be, that sort of thing. So in the present moment, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. And the Queen of Swords in reverse is kind of a brutal energy. She can be really harsh. The Queen of Swords in an upright position is an energy that fights for what she, you know, what she believes in. She's going to stand up for the little guy, that sort of thing. And in a reverse position this way, it kind of indicates that in the present moment, maybe you're being a little bit hard on yourself. Maybe that you're blaming yourself for the things that are happening in your life. Maybe you're not being the kindness. Maybe the words that you're choosing to speak to yourself or think to yourself are not the best. And that's what's happening right now, that's keeping you in this kind of stuck Four of Swords energy. You're trying to get out of it, but it's not working. And that's because you've taken on a sense of responsibility over everything that's happened that's not yours to begin with. And so you need to really reevaluate the situation and think about, you know, what the bigger picture is and what reasons there could be for all of this to have happened, right? In the near future, we have the Chariot card. And the Chariot card is a very like intentional movement forward, and it's fast. And I think that maybe, you know, there's going to be something that clicks that causes you to realize like, hey, this isn't mine to carry anymore. Everything happened because my life needed a rebalance. And so it's time for me to move forward with purpose and towards a goal, and, you know, just bring my life forward, right? Because we can't stay stuck in this energy that's happening. And retrograde is very much known for contributing to this unearthing of uncomfortable energies. So I'm not at all surprised that this is happening during this season, because that's part of what happens is, you know, like when Mercury goes into retrograde, communication is just super hard. You're not able to communicate thoroughly the way that you want to, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm not at all surprised to be seeing this kind of stagnancy happen, particularly right now, forcing us to face some things that are not the most comfortable to deal with. But know that you're being hard on yourself. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing was going to go differently than it did, because everything that happened was in a direction of bringing balance back into your life. So now it's time to acknowledge what happened, release yourself of the responsibility, and keep moving forward. I super love that. And in the position of what is in your power, it's the Fool. And the Fool is like It's taking the leap of faith. It's just trusting. You have to just kind of, it's an energy of surrender. And this is something that I've learned very recently. And it's something that I've always struggled with. I don't do well with an energy of surrender. I resist it as much as I possibly can. So this is a lesson that I'm having to unearth as well. Sometimes you really do. It really is about just let it be. Just let it be. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to go back and change it. And the only thing you can do is trust that you're protected, and you always, the universe always is going to steer you in the direction of growth and expansion if that's the direction that you want to go in. But you have to meet the universe halfway and surrender. And I say the universe, but it could be if you believe in God, it could be if you believe in spirit, if you believe in the divine, source, whatever it is that you believe in, trust it, because it's there for you and it's going to lead you into the right direction. So the next question for me on this Celtic cross was, what can we expect from this retrograde season? And it's a reoccurring theme for me. Before our readings, it's the Queen of Coins in reverse, and that is an uncomfortable energy. So you can expect discomfort, expect the discomfort, but be ready for it. The Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Coins, is an energy that knows her worth. And I discussed this recently in another video. It's an energy that knows her worth. Nobody defines it for her. She knows her value. She's not gonna, settle for anything less than what she deserves. And right now it's in an upside down position. It's in a reverse position. So you might not be feeling that great about yourself with all this uncomfortableness that's unearthing. But it's really important to set the intention to direct yourself back into that position and remind yourself who you are. Because just because you're in a slump right now doesn't mean that's the way it's going to stay forever. And we're back. So we got cut off there. The universe has been really stinky with me lately. My phone is running out of storage, and that's what keeps shutting down my phone. So I need to go through and really thoroughly clean it out. Anyway, I digress. So we were talking about this Queen of Coins energy in reverse. You have to really set the intention to get to know yourself again and to remember who you are and what you're made of. And this self-care is super necessary in your life right now. You're not getting it. I know that there may be an intention for it with this Four of Swords energy at the center of it, but you're not putting in enough into yourself. And I think that you're maybe dedicating too much of your energy into these outside concerns and not focusing enough of it on yourself to make yourself feel good. Sometimes when we're going through things, you can fall into a little slump of depression, and it causes you to neglect yourself physically, spiritually, your soul, your spirit. Everything else gets neglected because your mind is taking up so much of the energy, dwelling on these other things, that it's not allowing you to reinvest into yourself. And so this is calling on you to, reinvest during this uncomfortable little slump. I like that word, I don't know why. Anyway, in our hopes and fears position, it actually gave me 3 cards. It gave me the Emperor in reverse, and it gave me the 9 of Swords in reverse, and it gave me the 7 of Choices in reverse. 7 of Cups in reverse, but it has to do with choices. So I think that what's happening here is you're fearing a lot of things right now. The Emperor in reverse tells me you're not feeling in control of your life, but that is the point. That is why this is calling for you to surrender. It's your grip on life is maybe a little bit too firm, and you need to loosen it up a little bit, because you need to take that leap as the Fool, right? And the Fool in this deck is pretty interesting. It's one of my favorite decks. It's the Tarot of the Divine, and the depiction is of the Little Mermaid. And I'm not going to refer to the original story just because I'm not the most familiar with it. I read it when I was really young and I don't remember it, but the Disney version is very prominent in my life. So we're going to refer to that one. And so I want you to think as Ariel as the Fool, right? And Ariel is just eye on the prize. She meets Eric. She knows that this is the life that she wants. She wants to be human. She wants to have legs. She wants to know what it is to walk around, and she's willing to risk everything to get it. And I know that the journey might get ugly, and you know, she has to face a lot of obstacles, and she might seem really reckless in the moment, but in the very end, she ends up with all the things that she's always wanted, and she, you know, becomes part of these two worlds. In the end, they mesh together, even though during the journey it doesn't seem that way. So I know I digress with that story, but I want you to think of yourself as that's what the universe, that's your power right now, is if you surrender and focus on the things that you really want in life, no matter how impossible they may seem, or no matter how much you might think that those two worlds cannot combine together. Just keep your focus on the prize and trust that the universe is going to lead you there. Yes, you're going to have to put in the work, you're going to have to face those obstacles, but in the end, it's going to lead you to your two worlds coming together, and you being able to be a part of both and be essentially happy, right? So in the hopes and fears, it's this loss of control, this lack of control over what's happening in your life is a fear, but it is also your hope, in that you feel like you hope you can regain that control, right? But do you really, you might find that you don't really need it, because if you can really lean into this trust, you know, you might realize that it gets you farther to surrender than to be in control all the time. The Nine of Swords in the reverse this way is this anxiety that's causing it. I think it reminds me of a saying that, you know, that I got cut off again. And it reminds me of the saying, there's, you know, nothing to fear but fear itself, right? And so a lot of the scenarios that we create in our minds when we're in this negative vibration of creating scenarios in our head and going over them over and over and over and over again, we actually create fears for things that are non-existent, that aren't even going to come to pass. It's the overthinking cycle. You know, you think one thing and like, oh no, but this one thing and this one thing and this one thing, and they start to spiral, and you start to lose complete control, and all of a sudden you're curled up in a corner somewhere, hysterically scared, because you let your mind, you know, go. And so these nights of losing sleep and all this anxiety and all this overthinking that's happening in your head, that's what's overwhelming you. That's the part that you're scared of. But you do have the power to break out of that cycle. Once you start to hear your mind, or notice that your mind is drifting to a certain place, kind of snap yourself out of it, right? Snap yourself out of it and say, not today. Do a mantra, say an affirmation, pull a card, do a little, you know, 60-second meditation, breath work, tapping, whatever you are into, whatever's going to distract you from that moment when you're ready to sink into that negative vibration. That's going to be super helpful for you to break out of this cycle of nightmares and anxiety and overthinking and things that are really taking a toll on, they take a toll on your mental health, you know, let's be honest. And that's not a cycle, that's not a spiral that you can easily get out of if you let yourself go in deep enough. Now your next hope and fear is choices. So you're kind of hoping that you have choices, but you're also scared to make a decision on them. You're also stuck. You're not quite sure what way to move forward, and that really scares you, because you've always had the answers to everything, and right now you don't. And so this is something that that's causing you to freeze up right now. Also, in the overall advice, I've got the Page of Wands in reverse. And the Page of Wands is a very excited energy. It's a little bit reckless. It's a, you know, excitement to find something new. And I think that what the advice that the universe is giving, the overall advice, is not to be reckless. It's not, you know, despite this energy of surrender, you know, don't be reckless with your decision making. Don't purposely make decisions that are going to lead you down paths that are not good for you and that you know are not good for you. I do want to clarify on that Knight or that Page of Wands in reverse, because I'm I'm seeing it as a little bit contradictory with this, hey, surrender, but don't be reckless. Like, hey, be this little mermaid, but don't be reckless. What are you trying to say, universe? And we're also going to draw some oracle cards today from a new deck that I particularly love, and we'll see what the time allotment is to see if we need to draw anything else. But the message is pretty, I think it's pretty thorough. I hope that I'm communicating properly and that, you know, I'm not botching it. I don't know if I should take this. All right, so the universe is saying don't be reckless and don't lose hope, right? Like, you have to keep up your faith, whatever it is that you believe in. But above all, believe in yourself, I think is a very, you know, poignant message. Believe in yourself. Yes, put your faith in Source, God, Jesus, you know, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in. Keep your faith, because it's what's going to help you get out of this slump. But also believe in yourself. You are the Empress. I love the Empress in this deck. I was raised Catholic, and the Empress in this deck is Our Lady of Guadalupe, which I have a lot of faith for. I have a lot of faith in her, and so I love that she's kind of sealing the deal on this keep up your faith. She's an energy that, to me, actually, this is very prominent to what the message is. There was a time in Mexico where the indigenous people felt like outcasts because, you know, here come the conquistadors and the conquistadors. Sorry, I'm trying to speak Spanish and English, so I might get a little bit mixed up. You know, and they're made to feel like as less than. You know, the colonizers came in and they made the indigenous people feel like less than, you know, and we're better than you. This is the way. You need to learn this way because this is the correct way. Your way is not the correct way. And here comes Our Lady of Guadalupe appearing to Juan Diego, and she's looks like him. She's brown. You know, her skin tone matches his. Her facial features match his, and so she comes in and she, you know, when they finally believe him and build her basilica and, you know, build her church and everything, and they accept her into their, you know, belief system as an apparition of the Holy Mother, and she looks like the indigenous people. There is a link that happens. There's a change in the people, a more of a desire to feel, or more of a feeling of being a part of this new community, right? And so I think that this is very prominent in this reading, because I think that her energy is that of inclusion and making people realize that they belong and that they are good enough. And I think that is a big deal in when we're talking about working on your self-worth, because she is you are the Empress, you know. I mean, I don't know if I tied that all together as intricately as it was in my mind, but I do. I understand the message, and I really hope that you do also. And we have the Two of Cups. So once you realize that you are this Empress, it's going to rebalance your life and put you in a position where you're ready to share your cup with others, right? And that those others that are going to come into your life, those energies that you're going to draw to you, once you embrace this energy of the Empress within yourself. And again, a lot of these archetypes have genders, but the gender does not apply. It's strictly the energy. So you can identify with whatever gender that you would like, or not identify with any of them at all, but this can still apply to you. These are just, you know, labels applied to the energies, right? And so once you find that you are this Empress and you're capable of this creation and this, you know, you can make things and bring life to things, you know, then it's going to draw to you people and energies that are prepared to contribute to you with a full cup as well, right? And that brings me back to this rebalancing. Maybe in your past you were giving more than you were getting from situations, energies, people, that you interact with on the day to day. Maybe you're the type of person that always gives too much of yourself, and then the energies that are coming back to you have nothing spare, nothing left to give to you, or don't even attempt to give to you, right? So this Two of Cups coming into play is retouching on this this rebalancing that is happening when you embrace your worth and embrace that you are this Empress. Then you're going to draw energies to yourself that are prepared to give justice to you just as much as you are to them. And this is just the Six of Coins is just re-emphasizing. That's the I want to say it's a Libra energy, but it's not. It's Earth energy, but it's about balance. It's kind of like the baby justice card. The Six of Coins is having enough that you can be generous with other people, right? But you can't do that if you're not balanced in yourself. So this is all happening to bring balance back into your life. Expect that if you embrace yourself, you're going to draw the energies to you that are prepared to give to you just as much as you are to them. And the last card that I have is the Ace of Swords, but it's actually in reverse. So I think that if you can start intentionally working on all these things, it's going to help you break out of this mental prison that you're currently stuck in. The Eight of Swords is not seeing a way out, trapping yourself in your mind. In this depiction, I do interpret it as different things depending on the deck that I'm using, but in this depiction is a mental kind of self-imposed prison that you need to break out of. Doing these things, embracing yourself, is going to, steer you to the direction that you need to go. We're going to go ahead and draw oracle cards from, let me just turn this one around because that's the last one I got. And I am going to read from the book on this one. I find that with oracle cards, it is particularly helpful to do that because sometimes it helps tie the message all together. And this particular oracle deck that I'm using is called Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians. And it's beautiful. It also incorporates different belief systems and prominent figures and deities from different cultures. So I love this type of thing. I do believe there's truth in every belief system. I think that every one of them has something about it that is divinely inspired and can apply to our actual existence. So you don't have to believe the same thing, and that's okay. Live and let live, right? That's my motto for this type of thing. So let's see what the universe has to say. No jumpers, that's okay. We'll just pick the bottom one here. Persephone, new beginnings. That's beautiful. Oh, I love Persephone. So we're going to go ahead and read to you what it says for Persephone, or at least part of what it says for Persephone. If I can find, I might have to pause you to find the, yes, let's pause you so I can find the meaning. All right, so we're back. I found the meaning, and it says Persephone is a Greek maiden goddess who was captured by the king of the underworld, Hades. After eating the pomegranate seeds Hades offered her, Persephone became queen of the dead, agreeing to spend 6 months of each year underground on Earth's surface. This created winter. When she returned above ground each spring, Persephone and her mother Demeter opened the flowers and blessed the crops. Persephone symbolizes the eternal death-life cycle, helping us find renewed light after times of dark discomfort. Whilst her pomegranate symbolizes immortality, her other symbols are spring flowers, corn, and grain. This is where this is referring back to the Empress, who is giver of life, right? That card is kind of like she creates life. Persephone seems to do that in the spring. You may feel lost, exhausted, afraid, or shrouded in darkness, but Persephone is here to say, don't give up. She reminds you of the dual feminine powers of diving underground only to rise up again totally renewed. Perhaps it feels as though something in your life is ending or broken down, yet Persephone invites you to see things differently, as an opportunity for magical new beginnings. It will pay off now to dig as deep as you can into your soul for a fresh start. Make the effort to create positive change, and it will reward you. Like a phoenix rising. I was gonna actually mention the phoenix earlier when I don't remember what card it was that I saw, but I was gonna touch on the phoenix. You got to rise from the ashes. I might have said that, but I don't know. But that's kind of funny, actually. Where were we? Let's see. Like a phoenix rising, you're a skilled alchemist who can begin over and over again in life, creating stronger foundations, soul-inspired work, and enriched relationships. You have what it takes to ascend into spring, taking deep spiritual lessons from the underworld with you. I love that. That is lovely, lovely energy of regeneration after a dark time, which is exactly what I think the theme of this reading is. And additional meanings, I will read it because some of you might draw something valuable from this, but it might not apply overall. You can successfully deal with an illness, relationship, difficulty, or life challenge. Don't give up. As Persephone symbolizes the mother-daughter bond, this card can signify a rebirth, significant change, or healing within this relationship. You're a complex, intense soul who needs testing periods in your underworld to recall your spiritual power and alchemize your light. Can I read that one again? You're a complex, intense soul who needs testing periods in your underworld to recall your spiritual power and alchemize your light. I love that. Alchemize your light, yeah. That's a lovely, lovely line. Persephone, help me to begin again. Oh, this is the invocation that you can do. Persephone, help me to begin again, taking sacred lessons from the challenges I've faced. Stand beside me as I emerge renewed from the darkness. I love that. My cards are sticking to my arm because it's really hot in here. That was lovely. I love Persephone's message. Let me show you that image again. She's gorgeous. Look at her. Perfectly comfortable in the darkness, but also look at all the spring and beautiful life that's just, you know, coming off of her dress. And that's a wonderful note to end on. I was going to do more oracles, but I think that's a lovely note to end on. I think that we've seen this all come full circle. The oracle sealed the deal like it normally does. It always gives me, it fills me with so much energy when the universe just comes in and seals a message and explains it in a way that I had trouble doing. I am working on my communication skills, and it is particularly difficult right now during retrograde season. I do feel like Mercury just interferes with my ability to communicate my thoughts in a cohesive manner. So I love that the universe just kind of came in and summed that up. Like, I know this is rough times, but you will rise again. You are perfectly at home in the darkness. Alchemize your light. I super love that, and we'll take it with me. I am so happy I got to do this with you in a little bit of a longer, more, thorough setting. I really enjoyed this type of reading. Hopefully we'll get to do more. I hope you can take something from it, and it brings a little sunshine to your life. And I will catch you on the next one.